The sky of the alien world was always a soft shade of blue and silver, filled with two suns that never truly set. The land stretched wide, covered with glowing trees and rivers that shined like crystal. In one small village, far from the busy cities, lived a mother and her only child. They were not rich, they were not powerful, but they shared something greater than both: love. The child was small, curious, and full of laughter. Every morning he would run outside, chasing the bright insects that floated in the air like tiny stars. He loved to climb on the shining stones, pretending they were mountains. The mother would stand near the doorway, smiling gently. Her heart was always calm when she saw her child. Happy, she often thought. This child is my whole world. The village was peaceful. The people lived simple lives. They farmed, they fished, and at night they told stories under the glowing sky. Some stories were sweet, about heroes and brave travelers. But some stories were dark, about things better left forgotten. The mother never told her child those darker tales. She wanted his world to stay bright, but fate had a different plan. One evening, as the silver suns dipped lower, painting the sky in colors of fire, the child came running back home. His little steps were heavy. His face was pale, his laughter was gone. He stopped in front of his mother and whispered, "Mom, something is wrong." The mother bent down, worry filling her eyes. She touched his cheeks. His skin was colder than normal. "What is it, my love?" she asked softly. The child trembled, his eyes filled with fear. "Something is growing on my back." The words cut through her like a knife. For a moment she could not move. Her breath stopped. Her heart raced. She forced herself to stay calm. "Let me see," she said, guiding him inside the house. Their home was small but warm. The walls were built from stone, and a soft fire burned in the center. The mother sat the child down. Her hands shook as she slowly lifted the back of his shirt. Her eyes widened. There, just below his shoulders, was a small bump under the skin. It glowed faintly, as if a tiny light was trapped inside. The child looked at her with teary eyes. "It hurts, Mom. It hurts when I breathe." She wanted to speak, but no words came out. She had heard whispers in her youth, stories of children who changed. Some said it was a sickness, some said it was a curse. She had never believed them, until now. Her knees weakened, she almost collapsed. Her chest felt heavy, but she could not show fear. She pulled her child close and whispered, "Don't worry, my love, it will be okay." Her voice was gentle, but her mind was in chaos. What was happening to her child? Why now? That night the fire burned low. The mother sat awake, watching her child sleep. His face was peaceful, but his back glowed faintly beneath the blanket. She touched his hand and closed her eyes. Her thoughts were a storm. She remembered her own mother's words long ago. "If ever a child says something grows on their back, pray it is not true, for if it is true, nothing will ever be the same." The memory made her shiver. Her hands trembled. She looked at her sleeping child and felt tears in her eyes. She whispered to herself, "Please, please don't take him from me." The night grew colder. The stars outside shined brighter. But inside the small stone house, a heavy silence filled the air. The mother sat with her child, holding him close. Her heart beat with fear. Her mind searched for answers, and yet she knew deep inside that this was only the beginning. Something greater, something dangerous, had already started. The next morning rose quietly. The two suns climbed slowly into the sky, spreading silver light across the land. Birds with glowing wings sang in the distance. The village was awake. People moved about, laughing, working, living their ordinary lives. But inside one small stone house, nothing felt ordinary anymore. The mother sat beside her child, watching him as he stirred awake. His little eyes blinked against the morning glow. His voice was weak. "Mom, my back hurts." She tried to smile. "It will be fine, my love. I will take care of you." But her voice trembled. Her heart was heavy. For when she gently lifted his shirt again, the bump from last night was larger. The skin around it was stretched, glowing faintly like a hot coal beneath the surface. The child winced. It burns, Mom. His voice was soft but full of fear. His small hands clutched the blanket tightly. The mother pressed her hand over her mouth, stopping herself from crying out. She had seen many sicknesses in her life, fevers, wounds, weakness. But this was different. Something alive seemed to pulse beneath her child's skin. It throbbed with every heartbeat as if something inside was struggling to escape. Her legs weakened, and for a moment, she sank to her knees beside the bed. Her tears fell silently onto the floor. She had promised to protect him, yet she had no weapon against this strange horror. But the child saw her tears and whispered, "Don't cry, Mom. I'll be okay." Those words cut her deeper than a blade. He was the one in pain, yet he was trying to comfort her. She forced herself to be strong. She wiped her face and kissed his forehead. "Yes, my love, you will be okay, I promise." Still, her mind screamed with fear. That evening, the mother carried her child outside. The cool wind brushed against their faces. The village looked normal. Children ran, elders talked, merchants sold goods. But she felt as if they were walking in a world that no longer belonged to them. The child clung to her hand. He tried to smile, but his steps were weak. Every now and then he pressed his small hand against his back as if trying to hold the pain in. The mother noticed. Her chest tightened. One of the villagers, an old woman with sharp eyes, paused and looked at them. Her gaze lingered on the child, as if she saw something hidden. She leaned closer and whispered, "Be careful. There are stories. Terrible stories. If the mark grows, it will bring sorrow." The mother's breath caught. She wanted to ask more, but fear silenced her. She pulled her child closer and walked away quickly. That night, as the stars glowed brighter than usual, the mother sat near the fire. She held an ancient book in her lap, one she had not touched for many years. It belonged to her grandmother, filled with warnings and tales. Her fingers trembled as she turned the pages, searching, until her eyes froze on one passage. It spoke of children who carried the light under the skin, children who were chosen by something beyond their people. The words were blurred with age, but one line stood clear. When the light begins to grow, the mother's heart will break before it heals. The mother closed the book, pressing it against her chest. Her tears fell again. Was this her child's fate? Was this what was happening? The child stirred in his sleep, a soft cry escaping his lips. She rushed to his side. His body shook. His back glowed brighter. She touched him gently, whispering his name. Her heart broke at the sight. Suddenly, the glow pulsed sharply, as if something inside him pushed against his skin. The mother gasped, fear flooding her. For a moment she imagined his small body tearing apart. She pulled him into her arms, rocking him softly. "Shh, it's okay, I'm here." But in her heart she knew nothing was okay. The night stretched long. The child slept in her arms, his face peaceful again. But the mother did not close her eyes once. She stared into the fire, her thoughts dark. Her body felt weak, her soul heavy. She whispered into the silence, "Please, whatever this is, do not take him from me." And outside, in the shadows of the glowing forest, it felt as if something unseen was listening. The morning light touched the small stone house, but inside the mother felt no warmth. She had not slept. Her eyes were red, her hands weak. For hours she had held her child close, listening to every breath, fearing the moment one might stop. Boy stirred awake slowly, his small face pale but gentle. He looked at his mother and whispered, "Mom, it still hurts." His tiny fingers pressed against his back, where the strange bump continued to grow. The glow beneath his skin flickered like a fading candle. The mother forced a smile. She touched his cheek and said softly, "I know, my love, but I am here with you." Yet inside her chest, her heart was heavy with fear. She tried to keep her mind calm, but memories returned to her. Memories she had buried long ago. When she was a child, She had overheard the elders whispering around the fire. They spoke of the marked children, rare little ones who carried strange lights beneath their skin. Some believed they were cursed. Some believed they were chosen for a great destiny. But all agreed on one thing. The path of such children was always filled with pain. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. If one day your child bears the mark, you must be strong, for strength will be the only shield against despair. The mother swallowed hard. She looked at her boy, who tried to smile even in pain. Her eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. That day, she went out to gather water from the river. The child stayed inside, resting. As she walked, her thoughts raced. She could not tell the villagers. She had seen the way they looked at her child the day before. Curious eyes, fearful eyes. If they knew the truth, they might call him cursed. They might try to take him away. No, she could never allow that. At the river, her reflection stared back at her, tired and broken. She whispered to herself, I will not let anyone hurt him. Even if I must fight the whole world, I will protect him. Her hands trembled as she filled the jar. The water rippled, and for a moment she thought she saw shapes moving beneath the surface, strange shadows, as if the world itself was warning her. She closed her eyes and shook her head, refusing to believe it. Back at home, she found the boy asleep, curled up under the blanket, his breathing shallow, his small hands clenched. She knelt beside him, brushing his hair back. You are my miracle, she whispered, not my curse. But still, in the silence of the night when the house was dark and only the fire gave light, her hidden fear returned. The glow in the boy's back grew brighter. His body trembled, and sweat ran down his forehead. The mother gripped his hand tightly. Stay with me, my child, she begged. Her voice cracked. Her tears fell freely now. She had hidden them long enough. Her mind screamed with questions. Why him? Why now? What is happening to my child? But no answers came, only the painful silence of the night. She wanted to tell him the truth, to explain the old stories, but how could she? He was too young, too innocent. She could not place such heavy fear upon his small shoulders. Instead, she whispered soft lies. You are safe. Everything will be fine. But her heart knew the truth was far from safe. The boy opened his eyes weakly and looked at her, his voice fragile. Mom, am I going to die? Her whole body froze. The question shattered her soul. She forced herself to smile, though her tears betrayed her. She pulled him close and whispered firmly, No, you will live. You will live, and I will be by your side, always. The boy closed his eyes again, comforted by her words, but the mother knew the truth. His life was hanging by a fragile thread. Later that night, when the boy finally slept, the mother returned to her grandmother's book. She turned the fragile pages again, her eyes searched desperately, and then she found another passage. When the light begins to spread, the child's fate is sealed. Only love stronger than fear can guide them through the storm. Her hands shook as she closed the book. Her heart whispered, Then I must give him all my love, even if it breaks me. The night stretched on. The fire burned low and the mother sat in silence. Her fear was hidden deep inside her chest, but her resolve grew stronger. She would not let her boy face this fate alone. No matter what the cost, she would carry this burden with him. The nights grew longer. The house that was once filled with laughter now carried only silence. The mother watched her child closely every hour, every breath, every movement. Her heart ached as she saw the light on his back spreading like roots under the skin. It was no longer a small bump. Thin glowing lines reached out across his shoulders, pulsing faintly with his heartbeat. The child tried to be brave. He still smiled when he could. He still whispered, I'm okay, Mom. Even when he wasn't, but the truth was clear. His little body grew weaker each day. His steps were slow. His voice often cracked. He no longer played outside. Instead, he lay on the bed or sat quietly by the fire, staring into the flames. At night, the suffering was worst. His back burned as though fire lived beneath his skin. Sometimes he bit his lips until they bled just to keep from screaming. The mother could hear him, though. She could hear his quiet sobs. She sat beside him, holding his hand, whispering, "I'm here, my love. You don't have to hide your pain from me." One evening, the child finally broke, his tears spilled freely. He clutched his back and cried, "Why me, Mom? Why is this happening to me?" The mother pulled him into her arms. Her own tears fell, but she tried to stay strong. "Because you are special, my child. Because you are stronger than you think." But inside, her heart was tearing apart. She wanted to take the pain from him, to carry it herself, but she could not. All she could do was hold him through the storm. Days passed, and the boy's suffering grew. His appetite faded. His skin turned pale. His small frame trembled even when resting. The mother tried everything: warm cloths, herbs, prayers whispered into the night, but nothing stopped the pain. One night, as the wind howled outside, the boy suddenly screamed. The glow on his back flared brighter than ever. His body arched. His small hands clutched the blanket as though trying to hold on to life itself. The mother panicked. She held him tightly, crying out, "Stay with me. Don't leave me." She rocked him as though he were still a baby. Her tears soaked his hair, his cries pierced the air. Minutes felt like hours until finally, the glow dimmed again. His body relaxed, his breathing slowed. He collapsed against her chest, weak and exhausted. The mother looked at him, trembling. She whispered, "How much more can he endure?" The child opened his eyes weakly, his lips trembling. "Mom, am I cursed?" The mother's heart broke. She shook her head firmly. "No, my love. You are not cursed. You are my blessing." But deep inside, she feared the truth. She feared the stories were real. She feared her child was walking a path that would end in death. Still, she never let him see her fear. She gave him soft smiles, gentle touches, soothing words. She cooked him soups even when he could barely eat. She sang him lullabies from her own childhood, songs of hope and light. One morning, the boy tried. To stand, his legs shook, but he insisted, "I want to see the sky, Mom." She held his hand and guided him outside. The village children were playing, laughing loudly, but when they saw him, their laughter faded. They stared, whispering among themselves. Some pointed, some backed away. The boy lowered his head in shame, his shoulders hunched. The mother pulled him close and whispered, "Do not look at them. You are braver than all of them." Still, the boy's eyes filled with tears. He whispered, "I don't want to be different. I just want to be normal." Her heart shattered again. She hugged him tightly. "Being different does not make you less, my love. It makes you more." That night, when he fell asleep, the mother sat alone, staring at the fire. Her eyes burned with exhaustion. She whispered to herself, "I must find a way. I cannot let him fade away like this." But she knew the truth. There was no cure in her village. No healer could explain what was happening. No prayer could stop the light from spreading. As she watched her child's small body shiver under the blanket, she made a silent promise. "If I must give my life to save him, I will." The child stirred in his sleep, whispering her name. She brushed his hair gently and kissed his forehead. "Rest, my love, rest. I will not leave you." Outside, the stars glowed brighter, as if watching, as if waiting, and in the mother's heart, fear and love battled with every breath. The child's suffering was only beginning, but the mother's will grew stronger, strong enough to face even the darkest truth. The night was silent, but the mother's heart was loud with fear. She sat by the fire, holding the old book that once belonged to her grandmother. The pages were worn, the ink fading, yet the words carried weight. She searched again, desperate for answers, desperate for hope. Her eyes stopped at a passage she had missed before. It spoke of children touched by the light, children who carried something inside them, something rare. The book said, "The pain is a storm, but if the child survives, wings will be born, wings of light, wings of power." The mother froze. Her hands trembled as she read again and again. She whispered, "Wings? Her voice cracked. Could this be true? Could her child's suffering mean something greater? Her mind was torn. Part of her heart wanted to believe, wanted to think her child was chosen, not cursed. But another part of her heart screamed with terror, for the book also said, many children do not survive the change. The light burns them, from within. Only the strongest endure. Her breath grew heavy. She pressed the book to her chest. Her knees weakened, and she fell to the floor. Her tears streamed down. Why him? Why my child? She cried. The boy stirred in his sleep, his face pale, his back glowing faintly like embers in the dark. She rushed to his side, brushing his hair gently, whispering, I will not let this light take you from me. The next day, she decided to seek answers outside her home. She carried the boy to the edge of the village to the oldest woman known as the story keeper. The woman had lived longer than anyone else. Her hair white as snow, her eyes sharp as stars. The mother bowed before her. Please, I need your wisdom. Something is happening to my child. The story keeper studied the boy carefully. Her old eyes lingered on his glowing back. She nodded, slowly, her voice low. The sign of the wings. The mother's breath caught. So it is true? The old woman's face darkened. It is true, but it is cruel. The child carries greatness. Yet greatness always asks for pain. His back will break. His body will suffer. And only if his spirit is stronger than the fire will he live. Wow. Mother shook her head, clutching her child close. There must be another way. Tell me how to save him. The story keeper sighed. Love is the only shield. Stay by him. Do not let him fight alone. Your love must be stronger than his pain. Tears blurred the mother's vision. She whispered, Then I will give him everything, even if it breaks me. On their way home, the child looked up at her with tired eyes. What did she say, Mom? The mother smiled weakly, hiding her tears. She said, You are special, my love. Very, very special. The boy frowned softly. Special, but it hurts so much. She hugged him, whispering, I know, but pain does not last forever. One day you will be more than this pain. That night, as the boy lay asleep, the mother sat in silence, her heart torn between fear and hope. She thought of the wings, beautiful, powerful. But the cost was too high, she whispered into the fire. Please, if he must suffer, let me suffer in his place. Hours passed until suddenly the boy cried out in pain. His back glowed brighter than ever before. The light spread like fire under his skin. His small body shook violently. The mother rushed to him, holding him close. Stay with me, my child. Stay with me. The boy's screams filled the house. His nails dug into her arm as he clung to her. She rocked him back and forth, her tears soaking his face. You are not cursed. You are my miracle. She whispered again and again. At last, the light dimmed. Once more the boy collapsed in exhaustion, breathing weakly, his face pale, his body trembling. The mother kissed his forehead, whispering, I will not let you go. Not now, not ever. But deep inside she knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The growth was not a curse but a transformation, a rare and dangerous gift. If her child survived, he would be something beyond ordinary, and if he did not survive, the thought cut through her like a blade. She pressed her forehead against his, whispering, I will give you my strength. I will give you my love. You will not face this alone. Outside, the stars shined brighter, as though the universe itself was watching, waiting, for the moment when the shocking truth would unfold completely. The mother had grown thinner. Her eyes carried shadows from too many sleepless nights. Yet her arms never grew weak. For every hour, every moment, she carried her child through the storm. The boy's suffering had become heavier. His small frame shook with every breath. The glow on his back spread wider, stretching across his shoulders, like burning veins of fire. Sometimes the light flickered so bright it filled the whole room. Sometimes it dimmed until she feared his heart had stopped. Each time, she prayed silently, Please, don't take him from me. One night, the boy clung to her, his voice trembling. "Mom, don't cry, please don't leave me." Her heart shattered, she pressed him close, kissing his hair, whispering, "I will never leave you, not in this life, not in any life." But she knew love alone was not enough. The storykeeper's words haunted her. Only love stronger than fear can guide the child. But how could she guide him when the pain grew worse each day? Her answer came in a dream. That night, as she finally closed her eyes for a moment, she saw a vision. She stood before a glowing mountain, its peak hidden in the clouds. A voice whispered, "Beyond the mountain lies the healer, the only one who can help the child." She woke with tears in her eyes, her heart pounding. She looked at her son, sleeping weakly by the fire, and whispered, "I will take you there. Even if it kills me, I will carry you to the healer." At dawn, she wrapped her child in warm cloth. She carried him on her back, and with trembling legs, she stepped beyond the village. The path was long and full of shadows. The villagers watched her leave but said nothing. Fear kept them silent. The road was cruel, the ground was rough, the wind was sharp, the mother's feet bled as she walked. But she never stopped. Every time her body wanted to fall, she remembered her child's voice, "Mom, don't leave me," and her strength returned. The boy stirred often, his body burning. Sometimes he whimpered in pain. Sometimes he whispered her name in his sleep. Each time she kissed his forehead, whispering, "Hold on, my love, just a little longer." Hours turned into days. She crossed rivers where the water bit her skin with cold. She climbed cliffs with her hands bleeding from stone. She passed through forests where strange eyes glowed in the dark, but fear never stopped her steps. On the third night, a storm struck. The sky split with lightning. The rain fell heavy. She stumbled, nearly dropping her child, but she pulled him close, holding him tighter than ever. She fell to her knees in the mud, her body weak, her breath short, her tears mixed with the rain. "I can't," she whispered. "I can't go any further." The boy stirred in her arms, his small hand touched her cheek, his voice faint. "Mom, please, don't stop." Her heart broke again, but his words gave her strength. She pressed her forehead to his, whispering, "For you, I will never stop." She stood, her body screaming with pain, but her love stronger than her weakness. Finally, as the storm faded, the mountain appeared in the distance, its peak shined faintly as though lit by the stars themselves. The sight filled her with hope. She whispered, "We are close, my child. We are close." But the boy's body grew weaker. His glow flickered faintly like a candle about to die, his breathing shallow, his lips pale. The mother's heart raced in terror. She collapsed to her knees, cradling him in her arms. "No, please don't. Leave me now, we're so close." Her voice broke into sobs. She pressed her ear to his chest, hearing only faint beats. Her knees hit the ground, her cries loud against the silent forest. She begged the sky, "Take me instead. Please take me and let him live." Her body shook with grief. She kissed her child's face again and again. Her tears fell onto his glowing skin. For a moment she thought he was gone. But then, faintly, his lips moved. "Mom," she gasped, hope filling her chest. She held him tighter, whispering, I'm here, my love." Her tears continued to fall, and as they touched his glowing skin, something strange happened. The glow steadied, the burning veins calmed, his body still weak, but alive. The mother realized something. The storykeeper's words were true. Love was a shield. Her tears, her touch, her voice had power. They gave him strength when his own body could not. She stood again, her knees trembling, her body broken, but her heart burning with new fire. She whispered, "I will not fail you, even if I must crawl. I will take you to the healer." And so, with her child in her arms and the mountain shining ahead, the mother pushed forward, her spirit unbroken, her love unshaken. The breaking point had come, and she had chosen her answer. She would not break. She would rise even if it destroyed her body, for her child's life was worth more than her own. The mountain rose high before them, glowing faintly under the twin suns. The mother's body was broken, her feet bleeding, her arms trembling, but her will was iron. She carried her child close, whispering again and again, "Hold on, my love. Just a little longer." At last they reached a cave at the mountain's base. Strange symbols glowed on its walls. The air was warm, filled with a soft hum. The mother stepped inside, her breath shaky. Her eyes searched desperately until she saw an old figure sitting by a pool of glowing water. The figure lifted his head. His eyes shined like silver, his voice deep and calm. "I have been waiting." The mother fell to her knees, placing her child gently before him. Her voice cracked. "Please help him, I beg you." The old healer touched the child's back, his face serious. "The wings are trying to break free, but his body is too weak. Without guidance, the light will burn him away." The mother's heart stopped. "Then guide him, save him. Please." The healer nodded slowly. "I can guide him, but the pain will be great and he may not survive even with my help. The bond of love is the only anchor. If you stay with him, if your heart does not falter, then maybe, just maybe, he will endure." The mother clutched her child's hand. Tightly her tears fell. "I will not leave him, not for a single breath." The healer placed his palms over the boy's back. The glow flared brightly. The boy screamed, his small body arching in agony. His voice echoed through the cave. The mother held his hands, whispering, "Stay with me. I'm here, my love. Don't let go." The light grew so bright it filled the entire cave. The boy cried out louder. His body shook as though it might break apart. The healer's voice thundered. He must choose, life or death, strength or surrender. The mother pressed her forehead to his, her tears streaming onto his glowing skin. "Choose life, my child. Choose to stay. Please, for me." The boy's cries turned into soft whimpers. His lips trembled, his small voice whispered, "Mom, it hurts." Her heart broke, but her voice stayed steady. "Yes, it hurts, but pain does not last forever. You are stronger than this. You are my miracle." The glow burned brighter. The boy's back split with cracks of light. The mother gasped, but did not let go. She kissed his face again and again, whispering, "I love you. I love you. I love you." Suddenly the light exploded outward, filling the cave with blinding brilliance. The mother shut her eyes, still holding him close, refusing to let go. When the light finally faded, she opened her eyes slowly, her breath caught. Her child lay in her arms, alive, his chest rising and falling, his eyes closed in exhaustion. But behind him, stretching wide, were small glowing wings, fragile yet beautiful, shimmering with silver light. The mother sobbed, holding him tight. "You did it, my love, you survived." The healer nodded, his voice calm. "He is no curse, he is chosen. A child born once in 1,000 years. His wings will grow, his power will rise, and one day he will bring hope to many." The mother pressed her forehead to her child's, whispering through tears, "You are not cursed. You are my blessing, my miracle." The boy stirred weakly, opening his eyes. He saw the wings glowing behind him. His small lips curved into the faintest smile. "Mom, am I normal now?" Her tears fell again. She shook her head gently. "No, my love. You are more than normal. You are extraordinary." He closed his eyes again, resting safely in her arms. The wings folded softly, glowing like a promise of tomorrow. The mother sat there, her body weary but her soul lighter than it had ever been. She kissed her child's forehead and whispered, "The pain is over, and a new life begins." The healer stepped back into the shadows, his voice echoing, "Guard him well, for light such as his will draw both wonder and danger." The mother nodded firmly. "I will protect him with my life." And so, in the heart of the glowing cave, the story of suffering turned into a story of hope. A child who carried light. Upon his back, a mother whose love never broke. Their journey was not over, but the darkest night had passed. Together they had faced the breaking point, and together they had found the miracle waiting beyond it. Outside, the stars shined brighter than ever before, as though the universe itself was bowing to the child. With wings and the mother, still holding her son, whispered one last promise. You will never face this world alone, not while I breathe.